Chairs No Waiting, episode number 540, the eBullet, July 2019. Two Chairs No Waiting is brought to you each week by the folks over at weaversdepartmentstore.com. Head over to Weavers and check it out. They got some Otis Campbell's Better Than Home dark roasted coffee and some other coffee. Go and check that out if you like coffee. You might also want to get a barbershop hairstyle print, or maybe you want to get a Mayberry patrol car license plate. Oh my goodness. Or a 2020 Andy Griffith Show calendar. All of those things are over at weaversdepartmentstore.com. So head over and check it out. Two Chairs No Waiting is also brought to you by donations from listeners just like you. The executive producer of episode number 540 is Rainey Vinson. Hey, Rainey, thank you so much. And thank you for being here with us for this episode of Two Chairs No Waiting. I am Alan Newsom, your host and your fellow Mayberry fan, here to just talk to you about the Andy Griffith Show and make sure you know about the eBullet. Oh my goodness. I can't believe there's still people out there that are big fans of the Andy Griffith Show and they still don't know about the eBullet. Now, maybe you're one of them. So let's make sure we remedy that right now. The eBullet is the official newsletter of the Andy Griffith Show Rerun Watchers Club. Yeah, that Andy Griffith Show Rerun Watchers Club. That's a hard thing to say, but wow, it's a great thing to be a part of. You can get issues of the eBullet delivered directly to your email inbox by just subscribing over at the eBullet's website. If you go to imayberry.com and click on the eBullet link, every page of the eBullet, you should be able to see subscribe to the eBullet right there in the top, kind of the top right. It's easy to see. You just put in your email address, you subscribe, you get notified, and you can go and check out every issue of the eBullet. Now, the eBullet is put out by the Andy Griffith Show Rerun Watchers Club and written by Jim Clark, the presiding goober of the Andy Griffith Show Rerun Watchers Club. Wow. And I don't even know exactly. This is volume 19, issue 4. So I guess it's got to be more than 19 years. Volume 19. Oh, maybe it's volume 19 of the eBullet. Is that? No, that can't be true. Because it used to be a paper version that was sent out. Has it been 19 years since we started doing the eBullet itself? Oh my goodness. So the Jim Clark used to put out the Bullet, which was the paper newsletter, which I don't have one sitting right here by me, or I'd show it to you. If you're on the video, you'd see it, but it's a paper newsletter. It started off years ago, and I've talked about this before, as a single page, and then eventually it grew into 16, 18 pages every other month or so. Maybe they came out every quarter then. I can't remember, about 4 times a year, maybe 5. And Jim would write up information about the cast members and things going on around the Andy Griffith Show and mailed them out to people. And people would donate money to keep that going. But it got so expensive, he eventually just changed it over to, instead of the Bullet, it was eBullet. eBullet, get it? It's just an E. You know, it's an E. eBullet. It was great. So since then, he's evidently done 19 volumes, 19 years. This is issue number 4 for 2019. So let's get into this so that you guys can hear and know some of the cool things that are going on. Let's see, let's play a little background music for you by the VW Boys. There we go, VWBoys.com. Thank you, Tim White and all the VW Boys. Thank you for this background music you let us use. So let's go and check out the eBullet. Here we go. So this is from July of 2019. Now, it came out a couple of weeks ago, so some things have already occurred. But things have been very active around Mayberry during the last couple of months, including the annual Mayberry in the Midwest, also featuring the Mayberry Squad Car Nationals, that was in Danville, Indiana, back in May. It was another big success. Members of the Andy Griffith Show cast and crew have been making the news all around the world. And TAGSRWC, that's the Andy Griffith Show Rerun Watchers Club members and chapters, have been having really interesting and fun Mayberry adventures and gatherings from coast to coast. Everywhere, people are still eating up Mayberry. Best of all, there's even more coming in the months ahead, and you could be a part of them, guys. I'm throwing in some commentary as we go. We just had the Mayberry meetup last weekend, and Mayberry Days is coming up in September. Oh, don't miss out. So how do you find out about some of these things? You find out about them by heading over to the eBullet and subscribing, and you go and check out Floyd's Barbershop Bulletin Board and event calendar. That's right. That's how you find out. The Andy Griffith Museum, featuring the late Emmett Forrest amazing collection of the Andy Griffith Show memorabilia. You got to go there. The museum is open daily in Mount Airy, North Carolina. And for information about it, you can go to andygriffithmuseum.org. There's also a phone number in the eBullet if you would like to go and check that out. You can read it. These are some of the happenings that have not happened as of the time I'm recording this that are in Floyd's Barbershop Bulletin Board, because we just had the meetup. But coming up on July the 27th, Rodney Dillard, the guitar playing Darling Boy, well, he and the Dillard Band will be performing at Hazard Fest in Rogersville City Park in Rogersville, Tennessee. So you can go and find out more about that if you go to hazardfest.com. Now, Hazard Fest, you might realize, is Dukes of Hazzard. It's ought to be a great time. I would love to go there myself. I don't know if I'll be able to make it, but if you're in that area, head over and see Rodney, because you'll get find out some stuff about James, probably, because he may have played some role on Dukes of Hazzard. Seems like James Best. But he was Jim Lindsay in our heart here on the Andy Griffith Show. On August 10th, Mayberry 101 author Neil Brower, he's going to wrap up his summer lecture series about the Andy Griffith Show with a discussion on Andy's English Valet. That episode, it's going to start at 2 o'clock in the afternoon at the Andy Griffith Museum in Mount Airy, North Carolina. A great time to go and check it out. So if you didn't get to go to the Mayberry meetup, maybe you can head over there for then. You get to check out the museum, and as a bonus, it's included in the charge, you get to go down and hear Neil's presentation about the English Valet, Andy's English Valet. And let me just tell you, Neil provides amazing amounts of information about cast members, writers, everyone he's ever talked to about the Andy Griffith Show. Things will come to his mind and he starts spitting them out, and I'm just like, have you recorded this and written it down? You've got too many stories. His book, Mayberry 101, that you can get at Weaver's, is amazing, but he's got even more stories. So go and check him out if you get a chance. Karen Knotts, on September the 19th, she's going to be performing her Tied Up in Knots at a luncheon show from 1:30 to 3:30 at Wright's Chicken Farm Restaurant in Harrisville, Rhode Island. That's right. It costs $69 for an all-inclusive motor trip motor coach that is part of the group tour, or $45 for just the luncheon and the show if you drive by yourself. Okay, so there's information about that if you'd like to find out. Now the big event. I feel like a WWE announcer, but the big event is September 23rd through the 29th, the 30th annual Mayberry Days in Mount Airy, North Carolina. Oh, the tickets are available for the weekend's event, including tickets for concerts of Rodney Dillard and the Dillard Band, Leroy Mac McNeese and his friends that play with him, a presentation by Ronnie Shell. He was in 2 episodes of the Andy Griffith Show, and he was, of course, Duke Slater on Gomer Pyle, Gomer's friend. He's going to be doing some stuff about a comedy review and a special tribute to Andy Griffith, and a presentation of A Deputy's Daughter by Karen Knotts during Mayberry Days. Now, that's nowhere near all. We're not even close to finished. Other Andy Griffith Show stars confirmed so far to be attending Mayberry Days include Betty Lynn, Thelma Lou, Maggie Peterson, Charlene, Clint Howard, Leon. It's Opie's little brother, too, Andy, I should say Ron Howard's little brother. Keith Thibodeau, Johnny Paul Jason, Opie's buddy. Dennis Rush, another one of Opie's buddies, Howie. Joy Ellison, she was Mary Wiggins and 5 other characters. Margaret Carey, Margaret played Bess Muggins and Helen Scobie. And we also have a new one this year, the Calvin Peelers. He was Martin Barton on the Mayberry RFD show. He's going to be attending his very first Mayberry fan event ever. So you got a chance to meet this man. This ought to be a lot of fun. I got to get his autograph if I can. Bruce Billson is also going to be. Bruce Billson will be again at Mayberry Days. He was the assistant director of the Andy Griffith Show in season 1 and 2. You don't want to miss that. We're going to also have Bettina Link. She's the wife of Andy's longtime manager, Richard Link. Laura Hagen, she's the wife of Earl Hagen, who wrote the theme song and all the music on the Andy Griffith Show. And a new person this year that also I've never met is Dreama. I hope I'm saying her not Denver. Hope I said her name right. She's the wife of Bob Denver Gilligan, most of us really know him best as, but he was Dud Walsh on Divorce Mountain Style. Whittling sticks and carving knives. They're going to fight. So she's going to be here with us at Mayberry Days. Wow. Tickets are available to the golf tournament that's going to be on that Thursday. The Emmett is what it's called, and which includes dinner and entertainment that evening by comedian Henry Cho. There's going to be a performance by Ballet Magnificat. Okay, no, never say that right. Magnificat. That's a Christian ballet company that's operated by Kathy and Keith Thibodeau, Johnny Paul himself. Country music star Colin Ray's going to be there. The bluegrass award-winning group, the Grascals, will be there. The VW Boys that you're hearing in the background, they're going to be there having their bluegrass comedy show. It's a great show. The Embers, Envision, the Legacy Motown Review, as well as comedy performances by John Floyd, the Mouth of Mayberry is what he goes by, and James Gregory, the funniest man in America. Man, tickets for these and Professor Brower's class and lecture and the Rerun Watchers Club meeting itself and Colonel Tim's, they're all available. Go and get them now. Also attending this year is Dick Atkins. Now, he's been there in the past. He was the producer for Murder in Coweta County that starred Andy Griffith and Johnny Cash. You may have seen or remember this movie. It's great. It's a really good movie. It's based on some real stuff. Other stars are going to be announced in the future. Head to mayberrydays.com to find out more. Man, I feel like I've just been doing a commercial for Mayberry Days, but Mayberry Days is great fun. It's the 30th year. So definitely come and try to check it out. Rodney Dillard and his bands are also going to be performing on October the 12th. They're going to be doing the Mayberry Moment Show in Marion, Virginia, as part of the Song of the Mountain show. A bunch of the tribute artists will be there as well that day. Great thing to do in October after Mayberry Days. And then in November, so you can do stuff in September, October, and now in November, you can go on the Mayberry Cruise, number 14. That's right. It sets sail with Ronnie Shell, if I can say that right, that we just talked about a few minutes ago, and Dixie Griffith. She's going to be going with us as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun. A boatload of tribute artists will be there with us. We're going on the Carnival Sunshine. We're leaving out of Charleston, South Carolina, and heading to Nassau and Half Moon Key in the Bahamas. Wow. Even going to have an Elvis impersonator there with us. Folks, you just can't get entertainment like this. Go and check out the eBullet and Floyd's Barbershop calendar so that you can find more. All right. Now let's head over to some news of cast and crew. Now remember, all this information is in the eBullet. You could subscribe and you could read it for yourself, because I'm not telling you everything that's in here. And that's what I want to encourage you to do. Get a copy for yourself and read through it. But here's some of the news and cast and crew that Jim Clark was able to find. Ron Howard is on board to direct his first animated feature film. The Shrinking of Treehorn is based on a beloved 1971 children's book written by Florence Perry Hyde, with drawings by Edward Corey. The film is a joint project between Imagine Entertainment and Australia-based Animal Logic. It'll be distributed by Paramount. Wow, that'll be cool. NBC announced in June that it had ordered episodes of a new series called Langdon, which being developed by Imagine Entertainment. The prequel series is based somewhat on author Dan Brown's The Lost Symbol. One of the stories featuring protagonist Robert Langdon, who is played by Tom Hanks in the 3 movies that were directed by Ron Howard. The Da Vinci Code, Angels and Demons, and Inferno. You might remember those. Ron's Pavarotti documentary has earned solid critical review and strong audience responses worldwide. The film also has the distinction of being the first major documentary to be released in theaters in Saudi Arabia. That's That's something that I'd never heard before. Appleseed, a film written by Rance Howard, Ron's dad, who was in mind for the lead role. It was written with Rance Howard in mind for the lead role. It wasn't written by him. It kicked off opening night the 22nd Dances with Films Festival at the TCL Chinese Theater in Hollywood on June the 16th. The film also features Clint Howard, who joined other members of the cast and crew in discussing the film with Rance's legacy prior to the screening. So that would be cool. Clint said about the film and his dad, "It was such a blessing. Dad could always shine as a character actor, and he always came prepared, always rehearsed everything. He dreamed of it. He did it. He did it all the looping, and then he passed away." Appleseed is available on DVD, by the way. You'll be able to get it. Betty Lynn greeted fans in the Mount Airy's Andy Griffith Museum in June. By the way, it was about 495 people that went through her line. It took 3.5 to 4 hours to get through it. It was amazing how many people went through there. In July, there was even more. So, wow. So there's all kinds of other information in here. Joy Ellison, that's Mary Wiggins and others, continues to be in demand as a dialect coach. I don't know if you knew that, but she's a dialect coach in Hollywood, including currently working with Mel Gibson for one of his upcoming roles. Dorothy Best, the wife of the late James Best, just wrapped up a stint starring as Tanya in the Hickory Community Theater production of Mamma Mia. That's right, in Hickory, North Carolina. Wow, that's great. Now, that's James Best's wife. Great lady. Great lady. Now, we are sad to report of the passing of two actors who had small roles on the Andy Griffith Show, but big careers belong Mayberry. I'm not going to read all these to you. I want you to head over to the eBullet and check it out. But I want to tell you that Bobby Diamond, he passed away in Thousand Oaks, California. He was 75 years old. Now, Bobby played Evan Hendricks. He was the son of Butter and Egg Man Orville Hendricks. Remember him? On Aunt Bee's Invisible Bow. That's episode number 154. So he passed away, and he was in so many things. As you go and read this article about him, you'll just be amazed at all the things that he appeared in throughout the years. He was in episodes of The Twilight Zone. It was just amazing as I read through this. So we are sad to report that he had passed away. Wow, he's survived by his sons as well. So we hate that. Now, the other one that has passed away that we want to tell you about is Artie Johnson. Artie Johnson, you might remember him from Laugh-In. He passed away of heart failure at Cedars-Sinai Hospital in Los Angeles the morning of July the 3rd. He had been undergoing some treatment for bladder and prostate cancer for about 3 years. He was 90 years old. He's best known, of course, by his performances on Roland Martin's Laugh-In, but he portrayed an unnamed clerk in the 1962 episode of the Andy Griffith Show called Andy and Barney in the Big City. That was episode number 57. His was a small but memorable scene because his encounter with Barney incited the explanation to Andy that, when they registered at the hotel, Barney wrote Barney Fife, MD. And he said, MD, doctor? He said, oh no, that's Mayberry deputy. Remember that? Anyway, so Artie Johnson has passed away. Great memories with Artie Johnson. Folks, there's so much more information in the eBullet. Lots of stuff about him, talking about his time on Laugh-In, in the movies. Like he was in the movie where George Hamilton played Dracula. You remember that? Love at First Bite. There's even pictures in here with him with Captain Kangaroo. Guys, it's amazing. All right, so a little bit more information we have here in the eBullet. There's a chapter update. That's right. We're pleased to announce that a brand new chapter has started since the May issue of the eBullet, and it's called Down at the Barbershop, and it's in Loris, South Carolina. So welcome to the family. There are currently 1,460 chapters of the Andy Griffith Show Rerun Watchers Club. If you'd like to start a chapter of your own, you can check out the eBullet, go to the chapter update section, and there's information about how to do that. We can also help you get in touch with chapters that may already be in your area. So go and check that out. Now, the eBullet also carries information about products that are for sale at Weavers, like the new license plate we talked about, the calendar. Don't miss out on the 2020 Andy Griffith Show wall calendar. And we may have another calendar coming soon, too. Then the hairstyle poster that's similar to the one that's in the barber shop. And of course, we've got Facing the Crowd. We got all kinds of different things that you might be interested in seeing. Now, folks, I do want to encourage you, if there's things at Weavers that you want to get them. Go ahead and get them, because there's several items that they've already stopped making. They're still available, like fleece blankets that we make, but they quit making the throws that were like, I don't know how you describe them, knit. They were nice little blankets. They quit making those. I don't know why. So go and check them out. You might also want to get a copy of Neil Brower's book, Mayberry 101, since we've been talking about Neil. And let me give you a little bit of chapter news, too, out of the eBullet. A lot of chapters have been having things, and they actually got together. Members of the Shakedown chapter in Laurinburg, North Carolina, welcome folks from throughout the Southeast to North Carolina, or Southeastern North Carolina, and other areas, and from as far away as Florida to their annual pool party and cookout. There's a photo that shows all those who attended, but to get a better idea of the scope, there were 132 pieces of grilled chicken that were given out at this party. Phil Ernest D. Lee was there holding his bricks and jumping into the pool with all his clothes on, and Jeff Howard Sprague Branch was also there. And they also provided some musical entertainment. Believe it or not, Howard and Ernest T. can sing. So they had it, and it coincided with the June 1st birthday of Andy Griffith. So there's our chapter update from them. A note from the Sheriff's Department blotter. Believe it or not, it happened once again. One of the replica Mayberry squad cars owned by the Mayberry Cafe in Danville, Indiana, they were one of the hosting people of the Mayberry in the Midwest, that helps us out. That squad car was hit while parked in front of the cafe on June the 16th. The driver apparently fell asleep at the wheel. As previously reported on this beat, the cafe's 1963 Ford Galaxy was also hit on April the 26th. The damage in the most recent incident, though, was much more extensive, and they're not really quite sure if they're going to be able to fix it. It hurts, too. But they have two squad cars, and man, they hit this one bad, so it hurts me to see it. Mayberry Memories chapter of Eau Claire, Wisconsin, reports that they're back in full swing with summer car shows, parades, Mayberry presentations at retirement homes, and all kinds of stuff. Ken Anderson, the Mayberry guru, leads the charge at the Sheriff's Department in his sheriff uniform and his squad car replica. Oh, now on the move, Steve Hinckley from the $1.25 chapter in New Philadelphia, Ohio, he got to sit on the sidecar as Mark Inger from the Colorado Fishing Hole Whistlers chapter in Colorado Springs, Colorado. He handled the cycle. He was driving, so he was Barney, and I guess Steve was Andy because he's sitting in the sidecar. But the owner was also there with him, Rusty Graves. He's standing guard over the car. What they're actually in is the actual motorcycle and sidecar that Rusty owns that Barney had on the show. So Steve got to actually sit in the sidecar. It's not reported yet whether Mark drove off and the sidecar stayed there with Steve in it and the men around started laughing. We're not sure about that, but we will get an update as we find out. On their way home from Ohio, to Ohio from Colorado, the $1.25 chapter stopped for a visit at Blood Brothers chapter in Macon, Missouri. So they stopped by and visited with the Blood Brothers. Isn't that awesome? They got to spend some time with another chapter. I love that. There's all kinds of great information in here, guys. You need to go and check this out. The Mayberry chapter in Knoxville, Tennessee, and a welcome interloper from the Barney chapter in Greensboro, North Carolina, enjoyed a Mayberry-oriented trip to the greater Los Angeles area in June. Yeah, that's right. They went to Los Angeles. And among the Mayberry fans that they visited when they were there was Clint Howard, Ronnie Shell, and his son Greg, Margaret Carey, Joy, Miss Mayberry, Jr. Ellison, that's Joy Ellison, Leroy McNeese and his wife Jan, Stark and Court Howe, the sons of Hoke, Dud Wash Howe, Alan Oppenheimer, got to see him too, and the family of some of Hal Smith's family. The group also visited Mayberry-related sites, some iconic, rarely seen, and some both iconic and rare things that they got to see. And there's some photos of them on the trip. Believe it or not, guys, they actually found the airplane that Aunt B flew in when she was learning to fly a plane. Now, that's a color episode. You may not know about this one, but they actually found it and were able to get their picture made with the plane. They got to visit with Bruce Bilson, and he took them through the studios where they had filmed the Andy Griffith Show. Wow, what a trip they had. Folks, there is more and more information about chapters. I can't even read them all, but I encourage you to head over there and check out some of the amazing things that they have there in the eBullet. So go to imayberry.com, click the eBullet. I'm not going to read any more to you because we got more to do, but wow, thank you to Jim Clark for all the amazing work that he does. It is amazing the amount of effort and information that over the years Jim has been able to provide all of us Mayberry fans to help us enjoy what is Mayberry. So thank you, Jim. All right, guys, we are not done because we have still got to hear from our roving reporter. We all know and love him. Let's go and hear from him now.
Welcome to This Week in Mayberry History, a report by special correspondent Randy Turner of the Gomer and Cooper Pyle Comic Book Literary Guild of the Mayberry Historical Society.
Everyone's favorite tree walker, Mr. McBeevy, was played by Karl Swenson, born on July the 23rd, 1908 in Brooklyn. Born to Swedish immigrants, Karl first planned to enter the medical field. He took pre-medical courses at Marietta College in Ohio, but ultimately decided to instead pursue acting. Karl entered the entertainment field through stage work, cast in his first major stage production in 1930. However, when he appeared in his first Broadway production, 1931's World War I drama Miracle at Verdun, he adopted the less ethnic-sounding stage name of Peter Wayne. The stage manager for the play was one of the founding members of the famed summer stock company, the University Players. This led to Karl, or Peter as he continued to be called, appearing in their Cape Cod productions alongside other fledgling actors such as Henry Fonda, Margaret Sullivan, and Jimmy Stewart. In 1932, the group staged their original play, Carrie Nation, previewing it in Baltimore. While Karl still went by Peter during that run, when the play moved to Broadway, he ended his 2-year use of a stage name and was again billed with a Scandinavian last name. Karl appeared in 2 more Broadway plays before branching out into the new world of radio. Beginning in 1937, Karl starred as the title character in the long-running comedic soap opera Lorenzo Jones. Lorenzo was a would-be inventor who worked as an auto mechanic. His inventions included things like an outdoor vacuum cleaner, a waterless washing solution, and a teapot with 3 spouts to pour strong, medium, and weak tea. The show ran for 18 years. Karl was also cast in 2 productions by Orson Welles for his now legendary radio series, The Mercury Theater on the Air. Karl appeared in the radio stagings of Dracula and Abraham Lincoln, but not in the notorious War of the Worlds broadcast. Karl appeared in hundreds of radio shows as a guest star, from The Shadow to Inner Sanctum to Joe Palooka. He also starred as the title character in the radio serial The Adventures of Father Brown. Karl continued to act on the stage during this period, appearing in 2 Broadway plays in 1944, starring in the second of those, in Arthur Miller's second major play, The Man Who Had All the Luck. Though he had a small uncredited role in a 1935 film and again in the 1943 film, he found himself extremely busy when he began appearing on television in 1954. Karl's television work was extensive. In the latter half of the 1950s, he appeared in many westerns and in series such as Circus Boy with a young Mickey Dolenz, where Karl played a character named Lars for the first time, something he would often do. He played the recurring roles of Eddie Haskell's father during the first season of Leave It to Beaver and Charlie Burton in Bachelor Father. To Mayberry fans, Karl's best role in the 1960s was his appearance as the title character in the 1962 episode Mr. McBeevy. This parable of faith versus reason contains a scene with some of the finest acting to be found on television, when Andy demanded the tearful Opie admit that Mr. McBeevy was make-believe. Other than his 2 uncredited roles in the 1930s and 1940s, Karl did not do any substantial film work until he was over 50. One of his memorable roles was as a doomsayer in Hitchcock's The Birds. Karl also did impressive voice work while demonstrating his ability to do accents in his single foray into the world of animation. Karl was the voice of Merlin the Magician in Disney's 1963 animated classic, The Sword in the Stone. Karl had met Michael Langdon during his 4 guest appearances in Bonanza. Langdon remembered him, and in 1974 cast him as Lars Hansen, the founder of Walnut Grove and Little House on the Prairie. Karl appeared in 41 episodes of the series. Ironically, while Karl had not been asked to be released from the show, his character was killed off in 1978. The Little House episode that killed off the character aired on October the 16th, just 8 days after Karl had passed away at the age of 70. Well, that's it for this week. As always, thanks for listening, and remember to take Andy's advice and go out there and act like somebody.
Thank you, Randy. Man, what a great report. Mr. McBeevy, if you want to make sure you don't miss out on anything that Randy does, because he's doing so much on the web, send him an email at turnersgrade@gmail.com, turnersgrade@gmail.com, and I know you will not regret it. So thanks, Steve. Folks, we had a great time at the Mayberry Meetup this past weekend, and we will probably be talking about it next week here on the podcast. So drop back by, and hopefully I'll have had time to get all the pictures and all that kind of good fun stuff together, and we can talk about it then. Until then, I would love to hear from you. You can give me a call at 888-684-8415, and I would love to be able to talk to you and find out what you thought. Some people have already called and talked about their trip to the Mayberry Meetup. I would love to hear your experiences, your voice. So call me, leave a message, and I would love to hear it. So, folks, until next week, I want you to get out there and spread that Mayberry spirit. Let people know about it. Tell people about the Andy Griffith Show and how they can get involved. Because, wow, it is so much fun getting to spend time with our friends in Mayberry, whether it be online like this or at the Mayberry Meetup or one of the other great Mayberry events. So, folks, until next time, y'all have a great Mayberry week, and we'll see you here on Two Chairs.